Chiefs Kingdom, we've got a fresh rumor circling the league today, and it's got that classic Brett Veach scent to it. An insider is linking Kansas City to a recently drafted running back and calling it worth a call to check the trade price. Not a blockbuster, not a panic move, just a smart, sneaky phone call that could add real juice to this offense. If you're new here, this is Kansas City Chiefs Today. Daily news, rumors, and fan commentary for the best fans in football. We post every day, rain or shine, win or lose. Stick around, tap subscribe, and let's talk about why this particular running back archetype might be the perfect mid-season spark. Let's make one thing clear from jump. Nobody's saying a deal is imminent. The chatter is simply that the Chiefs should explore the market on a recently drafted back whose team could be willing to listen. That's a very different tone than trade talks are advanced, but it still matters because it tells you how contenders think in September and October. This front office loves controllable contracts, premium athletic traits, and players who can fill narrow, defined roles right away. That's been the formula of this era. Find the piece that does one or two things at a high level and let Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes build around it. You don't need a 25-carry workhorse when you already have a tone setter in Isiah Pacheco. Pacheco is the heartbeat, violent through contact, brings attitude, and sets the tempo. Behind him, the Chiefs want a different flavor that forces defenses to respect the edges and the quick game. Think about how this offense punishes hesitation. One false step by a linebacker, and Mahomes is throwing a dart behind his earhole. The rumored target fits the recent pick with real speed profile. Young, hungry, and drafted for traits. Maybe he's a hair buried on his current depth chart, maybe he hasn't seen a full runway yet, and maybe that's exactly where KC pounces. Contenders hunt for inefficiencies, and one of the biggest market inefficiencies in the NFL is young backs who need the right menu to pop. So why running back and why now? Because November football is body blow season. The Chiefs want fresh legs, change of pace speed, and a few design touches that make defenses play honest. You're not overhauling the offense, you're adding a chess piece. Speed is the headline, but stress is the real value. A defense stressed horizontally gives Mahomes vertical windows in the seams, and that's where Kansas City lives when the game tightens. Picture the same pre-snap motion we see every week, except now the flare to the flat is a legit home run threat. The safety widens, the nickel hesitates, and the slant behind it comes open. Outside zone and toss concepts become more punishing when the edge player can't win with angles. If the young back hits the corner with urgency, the force defender has to play deeper and wider, which softens the B-gap for Pacheco later. That's how complementary football looks in Andy Reid's playbook. Your speed back creates inside daylight without carrying the ball 20 times. Now add the screen game. The Chiefs don't need a 70-catch receiving back. They need a credible check down that turns third and 10 into fourth and 1. Think slip screens when defenses bring simulated pressure. Think quick swing off jet motion when the linebacker chases a pop pass he's seen on film all week. Red zone, this matters too. Defenses love to compress and trigger downhill inside the 10. A fast perimeter option punishes that aggression with quick-hitting perimeter toss or a rub screen that forces corners to tackle in space. If you steal one touchdown every couple of weeks because a defender misfit the alley, that's a huge swing over a 17-game season. Special teams is a quiet bonus. Dave Tubb has a long history of squeezing yards out of explosive athletes. If your new back can threaten a return or simply scare kickoff units into directional choices, you've already gained hidden field position. Those yards translate directly to expected points with Mahomes. Durability and workload fit the plan. This isn't a bell cow audition. It's pitch count football. 6 to 10 touches, matchup-based usage, and a ramp that protects the player while maximizing his burst. Late season legs are a weapon, and the Chiefs have been elite at timing their personnel bumps for December and January. Lastly, the locker room impact. Adding a young, hungry piece with fresh juice energizes position groups. Competition raises everybody's standard. Pacheco isn't losing his job, he's gaining a partner who makes defenses defend every blade of grass. That's the kind of addition that makes practice sharper and game plans more layered. Let's talk cost, because that's always the final exam for a rumor like this. A recently drafted back on a rookie deal typically costs in the late day 3 range, especially if he's not currently a featured piece for his team. Conditional language is common: snaps, yardage, or team performance escalators that protect both sides. For the Chiefs, that's an attractive window. Day 3 picks are important, but this front office has a track record of turning surplus late picks into targeted role players who fit what Kansas City actually does on Sundays. If the price stays modest, you're essentially exchanging a lottery ticket for someone you already like enough to feature in sub-packages. Scheme integration would be seamless. Start with a small, curated menu, orbit motion to eye candy the nickel, quick toss to punish soft force, a screen-off GT counter action, and the occasional wheel route to test linebackers in man. As trust builds, expand tags, RPO glance opposite motion, shovel variations in tight red zone, and fast 4-strong looks that put the flat defender in conflict. Pass protection is the real gatekeeper. Young backs get on the field fastest when coaches trust them in the protection rules. The good news is Kansas City's protection answers are quarterback-driven. Mahomes sets protections like a vet center, and the staff is excellent at taking pressure off young backs with slide calls and built-in hot throws. You don't have to ask a rookie to sort every exotic look on day 1. Roster mechanics are straightforward. You'd be shifting touches from the RB3/RB4 bucket and a handful of gadget snaps currently living with motion receivers. Andy Reid has never been afraid to ride the hot hand week to week. In September, it might be a screen game. In December, it might be gap scheme with Pacheco. In January, it might be 2 explosive touches that change a game. Cap-wise, a rookie deal back is exactly what you want on a Mahomes-led roster that's always balancing premium salaries with young contributors. You buy multiple years of control, performance upside, and special teams flexibility for the cost of a pick that often becomes a development project anyway. That's efficient roster building. And as always, timing is leverage. If the other team is stacked at running back or wants to open a roster spot at another position, your phone call hits different. The Chiefs don't have to force anything. They can survey the market, set a walkaway price, and wait for the right moment. National media will frame this as the Chiefs doing what contenders do: smart, surgical, low-drama upgrades. Locally, I can already hear the 2 camps. One side says, give Mahomes every weapon humanly possible. The other side wants to keep darts for trenches and coverage depth. Both sides are fair, and that's why the price point matters. There's also the gadget label debate. Some will roll their eyes at the idea of a speed back who only plays 10 snaps. But that label misses the point. Those 10 snaps force defensive coordinators to waste practice time. They widen alignments, adjust personnel packages, and hold calls they'd otherwise bring. You may only see one explosive play, but the ripple effect opens windows for Travis Kelce and the receivers. Fans love a shiny offensive toy, and it's okay to admit we're all suckers for a little more speed. But the real excitement should be about the way this coaching staff turns narrow skill sets into real value. That's not hype. That's documented behavior over years of deep playoff runs. Zooming out, this is about how you beat the other big dogs. Baltimore wants to choke space and hit you with simulated pressure. Cincinnati turns games into race to 30 track meets. Buffalo and New York feast on chaos when you get behind the chains. A credible outside threat changes how they script the first 15 and how they rotate safeties on second down. Divisional games matter too. The AFC West is never a rest week, and every defensive coordinator in the division builds the plan around one goal: make Mahomes hold the ball. Add a perimeter spark, and those edges can't crash as hard. That buys the quarterback half a beat, and half a beat is often the difference between a throwaway and a 23-yard strike. You're not trading for a savior. You're trading for margins. Margins win January. A single explosive run or a swing pass that flips field position can swing a playoff quarter. Stack enough of those margins, and you're holding a trophy. So where do I stand? Make the call, absolutely. If the price sits in that late day, 3-like conditions pocket, this is a classic Kansas City move. You get speed, versatility, and a cap-friendly piece who can help right away without disrupting what already works. If another team asks for a premium pick, you shake hands and walk away. The Chiefs still have long-term needs at spots that eat resources, and you can't solve everything with one transaction. But as framed, worth a call. This is exactly the kind of quiet upgrade that keeps a contender humming through the winter. Either way, I love that the front office is in explore mode. Great teams never stop looking for edges. And this edge, small as it might look on paper, could be the one that shows up in a divisional round box score. Alright, Chiefs Kingdom, I want your voice on this. Are you in on a trade for a recently drafted speedback if the price is right? Or do you want to keep the picks for trenches and defense? I'll be in the comments tonight. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.